South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Hi, I'm Kurt Angle. I represented the United States in the Olympics in 1996 and won a gold medal. Then I parlayed that into a pro wrestling career. I saw a commercial a few years ago.
Tunnel to Towers Foundation made a promise.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is paying off the mortgages for Gold Star families with young children. I thought, this is really cool. I want to be a part of it. My dad served in the Army for 30 years. We didn't have a lot of money, but he made sure we had what we needed. He set a great example for all of us. He died in a construction accident my freshman year in high school. When he died, we didn't have any income coming in, and we ended up being forced to move out of our house. I was devastated. So I understand what these families are going through, and to have an organization like Tunnel to Towers come in and pick you up and carry you and give you a home to live in, I think that's just amazing. I'd like to ask you to donate $11 a month to support these efforts by going to t2t.org or calling 1-844-BRAVEST.
Big-time, nighttime pools are always at Los Alamitos, with early Pick 4 pools of more than $175,000 on most nights, and a late Pick 4 pool of more than $150,000 on most nights. Plus, our Pick 6 pools have reached record figures in 2025, including a total pool of over $370,000 on June 15th, and record Pick 6 payouts. Big-time, nighttime pools every weekend at Los Alamitos.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the race books and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. All righty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program, coming to you live and direct from the gaming capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, right here at our studio station at the South Point Hotel Casino Complex on Las Vegas Boulevard in Las Vegas, and the South Point Streaming Network at YouTube. We welcome you to the show on this first day after the big Labor Day weekend. And now we move into perception of fall. And I got to tell you that there's a little bit of a fall type of weather outside here in Las Vegas today. We will also welcome all of our listeners at Sports Talk 1400 AM 107.1 FM. That is, of course, our anchor radio station here in town. Our website's racedaylasvegas.com, .vegas, .world, iPhone, Android, and Google phone covered with the apps. KSHP app, you listen to the radio station. YouTube app, you can see and hear us through YouTube. And, of course, anywhere you get your podcasting as well. We welcome you to the show. However, wherever, whenever you get us. Yes, Labor Day is usually the unofficial end of some summertime. It has ended, so to speak, in our minds. Now we get into fall because tomorrow night is the start of the NFL, the real games. The NFL season starts tomorrow, and that's when we really think about fall. And right now here in Las Vegas, it's 83 degrees and overcast. It's really kind of nice out, because you don't get that sun beating down in, and just a little bit of a breeze walking through the parking lot was great. 83 degrees, and we're only going to get up to 96 today. I mean, 96 degrees, so we're past the 100 degrees. It might get a little bit, we might have one more of those 100 plus weeks, a little pocket yet to go, but usually we're starting to taper off now. Want to thank all of those fine folks, over 300,000 of them, that joined us here on the Labor Day weekend to celebrate Labor Day with us. And now we start moving into what I call the run-up to the Breeders' Cup. Okay, now we got the march to the Breeders' Cup. And just taking a look at a few things there. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and get the latest rankings for the Breeders' Cup. I want to let everybody know that the horse that lost its jockey in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, Mindframe, and Antiquarian, the horse that won the Jockey Club Gold Cup, are going on and heading towards the Breeders' Cup Classic. But as of September 2nd, which is just this past week, yesterday as a matter of fact, the Breeders' Cup Classic rankings. Number 10 is Highland Falls. Baeza is 8, and Antiquarian is also tied at 8, okay? They tied in their votes. Nisos is 7. Forever Young, the Japanese horse, remember that, a Japanese horse? He's ranked 6th. Journalism is ranked 5th. Mindframe is ranked 4th. Sierra Leone is 3rd. Fierceness is ranked 2nd, only behind, obviously, Sovereignty, who is ranked top. Got 36 first-place votes out of the voting. Fierceness, who is in 2nd place, got 3. So you can see the overwhelming thought about ranking the Breeders' Cup this year all goes to Sovereignty right now. But we are on our march to the Breeders' Cup. And, of course, we'll have all the greatest Breeders' Cup special stuff here, with the parties and all of that here at the South Point, of course, our Breeders' Cup special as well, and our seminar. It'll all come up at Breeders' Cup weekend. So make your plans now. Get it done. Make your plans now. Call South Point and get tied on for Breeders' Cup weekend. All right, we wrapped up Saratoga. Let's go to the results at Saratoga. All right, this was closing day, Monday, Labor Day. Jose Ortiz back to ride at Saratoga. Everybody who was racing at the Kentucky Downs for all the big bucks, no whammies, was back for Labor Day Monday closing. On Labor Day Monday, Ortiz, Jose, wins the first race for his first winner of the day for Tom Amoss, paying $3.36. And then Kendrick Carmouche checks in for Todd Pletcher's first win in the second race at $20 even. And then we roll down to the fifth race where Jose Ortiz gets his second win of the day for Steve Asmussen, paying $9.16. Remember, Irad Ortiz Jr. that went into the day with 59 wins for Saratoga was sitting on the bench because of that spill in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. So, his brother was getting close, but his brother needed to have a big day to even tie his brother Irad. But he had his second win of the day in the fifth race for Steve Asmussen, paying $9.16. I'm going to get to the pick five payoffs in just a moment. The Jose got his third win of the day in the sixth race. He won 3 of the first 6 races for Linda Rice, paying $8 even. Junior Alvarado and Bill Mott, who had a great meet at Saratoga, got together to win the 7th race, paying $9.98. And then in the hopeful, the grade 1 hopeful for 2-year-olds, that was the 9th race on the card, Ted Nafi ran them off their feet. This is going to be a dominant 2-year-old and probably right now the favorite for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. With all those 2-year-olds that Baffert has on the West Coast, this horse just ran lights out to win the hopeful, easily winning the race under John Velasquez for Todd Pletcher. And Todd Pletcher got his second win of the day at Saratoga, and that win gave him the lead in the trainer standings over Chad Brown. Now, Pletcher has 32 wins going into the last 2 races. The last 2 races at Saratoga. And Brown, who was leading throughout the meet, Brown is now sitting there with 31. Pletcher's got 32. Ted Nafi paid $9.62, outrunning Butane, the big runner for Baffert from the West Coast. Just couldn't match strides with this horse. Butane ran second, and Curtain Call finished third. Then we get to the 10th race, which was the Saranac Stakes. The winner there was Stars and Stripes for Junior Alvarado and Bill Mott. Told you they had a big meet. They teamed up together for their second win of the day, paying $5.40 in the Saranac, outrunning Magic Pathway and Asbury Park. And then it came down to the 11th and final race. In the 11th and final race, Chad Brown had a horse in the race. And when they turned for home, his horse was charging in the middle of the track. But could he get to the leader in time to the wire? Flavien Prat on his belly, riding hard, and Say Yes to Dreams, appropriately named, got up in the final jumps to win the last race, the 11th race at Saratoga for Chad Brown. That gives him a tie. That gave him a tie with Todd Pletcher for the trainer standings at Saratoga. Dramatic it was, $6.88 there. And so the titles look like this. Chad Brown and Todd Pletcher share the training title at Saratoga with 32 wins apiece. That came on the last race at Saratoga. Linda Rice was third with 24. As far as the jockeys are concerned, Irad, who was sitting on the bench closing day, closed out the meet with 59 wins. That was good enough to beat his brother. Jose has 55 wins, had 55 wins, picked up 3 on closing day, but not enough. So Irad wins the jockey title, and Flavien Prat finished third with 42. And that's the way it ended at Saratoga, dramatically, on Labor Day Monday. However, Saratoga, the handle was down a bit at Saratoga. If I'm not mistaken, the 40-day meet, the handle declined 1.6%. Not a big decline, but it did decline 1.6%. But the handle in the last 17 days of the meet, was down, was really flat, was down considerably, 14% for the final 17 days. Okay, so they wrap up at Saratoga. Racing resumes on the Big Apple, back down in the city at Aqueduct, in the Belmont at Aqueduct Fall meeting. That starts on the 11th of September. That'll be starting day there, okay? Del Mar on Monday? Well, let's see. Del Mar on Monday. Easy winner in the second race for John Sadler and Juan Hernandez, paying $2.20. Full Serrano. Remember, Full Serrano won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile last year at Del Mar. It was a pick, by the way, on the show and in the seminar by John Lindo. Full Serrano returns to the races off a big layoff and needed to get the win. He won it easily. He won the second race easily, paying $220. In the race, El Bellator clipped heels and went down, dumping Herrera in the race, but they both came out okay. Full Serrano wins easily, and now John Sadler has a decision to make whether he will give him one more tightener before entering into the Breeders' Cup this year. All righty, and then otherwise, wire-to-wire winner for Peter Miller in the fifth race, Armando Aguilera, 1040 there. In the seventh race, Edwin Maldonado got a win for Doug O'Neill, paying $85.60. Think about that. Edwin Maldonado and Doug O'Neill, $85.60 with Going Deep. Now, if you remember, folks, on Monday's show, when we got to Jerry Jackowitz, Jerry gave his feature play in that race. The horse's name was Hey Jesse. But when I marked the race down earlier in the day when he sent me his sheets, I marked Going Deep as his feature play. After he gave the race, I said, Jerry, are you sure I have Going Deep marked as your feature play? He looked up and said, no, you marked it wrong. That was the $85 winner. Enough said there. There were two feature races. The Tranquility Lake was the eighth race on the card. Splendora won easily under Juan Hernandez for Bob Baffert, paying $360, outrunning Allen Magic Philly and Nothing Like You. And then in the general portion stakes for 2-year-old fillies, the winner there was Too Sassy, who battled the lead with the favorite and ran the favorite into the ground and kept going. Too Sassy for Sam Scalamari and Umberto Rispoli wins the generous portion, paying $52.20. McCaven was second and Liberation was third. The last race winner paid $18.60. Now, you know you got an $85 and a $52 winner in the pick six. There was one winning pick six ticket, and that raised the eyebrows on those guys out there thinking that CAW got involved. But here's the pick six payoff, $186,441.70. Okay? And that final race, pick five, paid $85,980.90. That was the Monday Labor Day out at Del Mar. Now, take a look. Just wanted you to take a recap of what happened over the Labor Day weekend. Here are the pick five payoffs. Saratoga on Saturday, $13,108.25, $34,180.75, $96,163.25, $17,890.75. On Sunday, $10,912.75, $35,143.75, $15,084.25. And on Monday at Saratoga, pick fives paid $18,113.55 and another $26,134.50. And we already told you about those payoffs on Monday at Del Mar. The early pick five paid $6,918.80. The last pick five, as I said, $85,980.90. And of course, the pick six, one ticket paying over $186,000. What a Labor Day weekend it was. If you just connect one of those pick fives at those tracks, they were paying off big time. No, I did not. Got close on a couple, but I did not have any. And I guess we should have just kept with Going Deep at Del Mar. That would have been a nice winner on the show. Anyhow, other news, real quick. Silent Rule. This is a filly, a 4-year-old filly, who has 10 wins out of 10 career starts. She is currently the most wins undefeated active runner in thoroughbred racing right now. But she is done for the year. Her last race was a win in the Best of Ohio Series, the Honey J Stakes at Thistledown. But she has an inflammation in a knee where she had a hairline fracture 2 years ago. And so Silent Rule is off the the trail right now, 10 for 10 lifetime. She may very well be retired, but what a fine race mare she is out at in Ohio, that's for sure. All right, on today's show, we got Jonathan Hardoon. Rich Ing's going to give us his NFL future plays that he got. And, of course, we got, if it's Wednesday, we got Dwayne Colucci from the Rampart, and, of course, John Lindo and Jerry J as well. And so don't forget, this is closing week at Del Mar. Closing week at Del Mar on Sunday, and then they go over to Los Alamitos on the 12th of September. But it's closing week at Del Mar. We got a lot to cover on the show. So without any further ado, we're going to take our first break. And when we come back, we'll be off to the races on this Wednesday after Labor Day. Don't go away.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Big-time, nighttime pools are always at Los Alamitos, with early Pick 4 pools of more than $175,000 on most nights, and a late Pick 4 pool of more than $150,000 on most nights. Plus, our Pick 6 pools have reached record figures in 2025, including a total pool of over $370,000 on June 15th, and record Pick 6 payouts. Big-time, nighttime pools every weekend at Los Alamitos.
Alrighty, back on Race Day Las Vegas for this Wednesday. A couple of quick notes of news. Let's see. Kentucky Downs. You got a problem with the timing there with their new timing system. Equibase timing and Kentucky Downs timing of the new timers that are Kentucky Downs at the track have been conflicting. They haven't been the same times at either one. And if you're big on final times, there's a problem there, and they're going to work on that because there are conflicting times between the Equibase timers and the track timers that they installed this year. Remember that? IRAD is expected to race at Thursday at Kentucky Downs. I told you about that. Torpedo Anna. Her next start is going to be the Spinster Stakes at Keeneland on the 4th of October, prepping for the Breeders' Cup. Formidable Man is going to train up to the Breeders' Cup after his weekend win. And Kendrick Carmouche got 5-day suspension for his participation and his jamming the field that caused Mindframe to go down in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Carmouche gets 5 days for that. All right, as far as the weather is concerned, looks good across the country as far as weather conditions, so all the tracks look like they'll be okay. Miami is 87, possibly a little rain down there. You've got New York, sunny and 79. Chicago's raining and 75 degrees. And in Southern California, 94 degrees, but no racing there today. Phoenix, Arizona is the hot spot in the country. They're still hitting the hundreds. They got 103 today in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, now let's get started with your racing menu for today. Want to remind you, first post times we broadcast on the show each and every day reflect that of the Pacific time zone. We are in the Pacific time zone. These are the first post times rolling out in the book today. If you're listening anywhere else in other time zones rather than the Pacific time zone, just adjust to the Pacific time zone from the one you're in, and then you won't miss anything like I miss Mom and Dad, okay? We begin by reminding and telling you that we announced this a couple of days ago, but today, Delaware Park has been canceled. Has nothing to do with the weather or anything else. They just couldn't find enough entries to make a card. So because of lack of entries, Delaware Park is canceled today. All right, and we begin our racing menu with Colonial Downs. They have 8 races today at Colonial Downs, and they have a first post time of 9:30 at Colonial Downs. Belterra Park has 8 races, and the 8-race card at Belterra Park will start at 9:35 at Belterra. Then we have Parks Racing. Parks Racing, their Pick 5 jackpot carryover is $111,139, so they say. 9 races at Parks, first post time 9:40. Finger Lakes, now the only upstate New York racetrack operating. Finger Lakes, they have 8 races. Their first post time is at 10 a.m. at Finger Lakes. Following that comes Horseshoe Indianapolis. Horseshoe Indianapolis has 1 quarter-horse race. It's the 9th on the card. The first 8 will be thoroughbreds. They have 9 races overall at Horseshoe Indianapolis, and a first post time there of 11:10 at Horseshoe Indianapolis. Presque Isle Downs has 8 races today. Their first post time at Presque Isle Downs is set at 12:30 at Presque Isle Downs. Penn National has a first post time today for their 8 races at 2:45 at Penn National. And then we wrap it up with Canterbury Downs. Canterbury Downs has a first post time for their 8-race card set at 3:10 at Canterbury Downs. And that is your racing menu for today. We now go out to Jonathan Hardoon standing by. Jonathan, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How are you?
I'm fine. Is one day off enough for you?
I keep thinking today is Tuesday for some reason.
Today is Wednesday, my man. That to-do list that builds up over the week while we're doing racing, well, usually it takes me 2 days to get it done before the week starts again. I had to jam it all into yesterday, and not all of it got done anyhow, so whatever. Man, big payoffs in the Pick 5s over the weekend, huh? Woo!
There certainly were, Ralph, especially at Saratoga. And by the way, I don't know for a fact, but anybody with an ounce of intelligence could think, or certainly have the right to think, that CAW is back at Del Mar. There were a couple of drops on Sunday that reminded us of just a few weeks ago. They didn't announce it or anything like that, but I'm curious to know. And what I'm really curious to know, Ralph, is if that pick 6 was hit by a CAW player, for the simple reason, on Saturday in the pick 6 pool on Pacific Classic Day, they had $408,000 bet. On Sunday, they bet $184,000, which makes sense. However, on Monday, they came back and bet $305,000 into the pick 6. There was one winner. They've yet to announce where it was hit, but $305,000 on a Monday, Ralph, that seems a little high. And I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that CAW was involved there somehow.
All right, I'll add to that by saying that I believe at the moment the handle, if Del Mar was to end today, and there you got the last week yet to go, that their handle is probably overall going to be down as well, because I had a few people out at the track on Labor Day Monday, the Labor Day Monday holiday, the last big weekend holiday for Del Mar's racing, that said that this is their words, they thought the crowd was pathetic. They said it was they said it was really a light crowd there. So that adds to the handle in that particular pick 6. So
it just doesn't make sense, and people aren't stupid, and gamblers really aren't stupid, because they know what's going on. They may not announce it and they may not say it, but give us a little credit, Ralph. We've been around the block a few times.
Yes, I agree with that. We'll wait and see if it comes out who hit the ticket, where it was purchased, and how much was the ticket when purchased. Because usually they're readily, handily going to give that information the next day. Usually the day of, it's usually too late. It's too much before they find it. But they'll do the calculations, and they know. I know they know by now who hit it and when. I just want to see if they're going to make a public announcement on that. That's for sure. Okay. Well, anything that you want to touch upon before we get to a pick here?
No, we kind of covered it all. Saratoga had a tough meet, Ralph. They ran a race at the wrong distance. They did a lot of bad things, but overall, and they had to obviously deal with the weather the
Right.
first couple of weeks, and that certainly hurt the handle. And in general, I think the handle was down, like you said in your opening monologue.
It wasn't alarmingly down, but it declined 1.6%. But the real shocking thing was being down 14% in the last 17 days.
Yeah, and remember, how many 14 race cards did they have?
Yeah.
So they were trying to do everything to boost the handle,
Yeah.
and I guess it didn't work too well.
All right. One quick question I want to ask you, and then we'll get to the pick. The Kentucky Downs. Equibase has one set of times, final times and timing, quarterly times that they're publishing. And the racetrack who put in that new, system, the timing system, they say is down to a 100th of a second. Varies. They don't match up. They're two different ones. And guys like you and Jerry that do ratings and numbers based on time, does that affect you at all?
Well, it doesn't affect the Ragusan figures because we hand time each race individually. We don't count on the track times. We don't count on anyone times but our own. So if there's a mistake, we made it, and we knew there was a mistake. And not unfortunately, but now it's public knowledge. But we knew there was a mistake because we hand time every race by ourselves. We have a person that specifically has the job of hand timing every race. So when there's a mistake, and there's a lot of mistakes, the Gulfstream had this problem a few years ago. We knew about it, and it's an edge if you use the sheets, but now it's public knowledge where they're going to have to go back and retime all those races.
Yeah, they are, and whatever the case may be, they got to get that squared away. So you have independent timing, and it doesn't make any difference. That's good to know. All right, let's get a pick off of your calculations there, my man.
Okay, well, we did Colonial Downs today. Slim pickings. There aren't many tracks up. Tomorrow, I did both Colonial and Kentucky Downs, so we'll have 2 radio plays tomorrow. But for today, we're going to look at the 5th race. It's a mile on the main track, and I like the number 1 horse in here, Odorico, a 5-year-old gelding from the Eduardo Camori barn. Daniel Centeno aboard to ride. This is a 5-year-old that didn't start racing till he was 5. However, the good news is he now makes his 11th start this year. Ran on the turf last time out, back on the dirt today. Should love a flat mile, 1 turn. 6-1 on the morning line. I like number 1, Odorico, to win today's 5th race out at Colonial Downs.
Well, okay then. In the 5th race today at Colonial Downs, number 1, Odorico, the 1 in the 5th race at Colonial Downs. Jonathan Hardoon's play on a day that's slim pickings, as you say. But you do have a full sheet for Colonial Downs today, right?
Yes, at the website, JONHARDOON.com.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jonathan. Nice to know that you don't have a huge soapbox there, but we'll keep an eye and see if they fess up who won that big pick 6 on Monday out at Del Mar, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Ralph. Stay safe and be well.
All right. You got it, my man. Now we're going to go to Rich Eng standing by. Richie, lots of people are waiting to see and hear your futures bet for the NFL because the real season starts tomorrow. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ralphie. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, listeners. Yeah, the NFL, a lot of people had, were waiting last weekend, but no, there was college football. Now we get week 1 this weekend.
Okay, you got it.
We get the first game.
Let's see what your predictions are.
All right, I got 5 teams that I bet over-unders in the NFL. I had 8 college teams. The first one in alphabetical order is the Chicago Bears, under 8.5. I know they have a new coach, Ben Johnson. They signed from the Detroit Lions. I think it's a great hire. But, one thing that I thought the Bears would go under is that Caleb Williams is not the kind of quarterback to run his system. In fact, I think the backup quarterback, Taysom Badgett, probably fits the system better than Caleb Williams. But I think the Bears there's too much optimism there. I'm going under 8.5. Dallas is my next team. I bet them under 8.5, and I bet this way before they traded Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were going to be much good even if they had Parsons. Now without Micah Parsons, I love this under 8.5 bet for the Dallas Cowboys. New York Giants under 5.5. I know the New York Giants look good during the exhibition season, Ralph, but I've got this thought process in the quarterback room. If Russell Wilson was still any good, he'd still be in Pittsburgh. And if Jameis Winston was still any good, he'd still be in Cleveland. Instead, they're both 1-2 on the New York Giants. I think Jackson Dart ends up playing, probably starting in the middle of the season when the record's like 2-7 or something like that.
All right.
But this is going to be Dart's team. Pittsburgh Steelers over 8.5. Well, the old story that Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season in the National Football League. So for him to go over 8.5, he just has to be 9-8. But I really think Aaron Rodgers, as a one-year project, will help with the quarterback play. They got a great defense. They just needed some help on offense. And the last team in San Francisco over 10.5, they were just injury plagued last year, lost so many key players, and also they have an easy schedule because they had such a terrible season. 49ers, stay healthy, easy schedule.
All right, good enough, Richie. And, of course, tomorrow, the beginning of the NFL season on a Thursday nighter, and we'll get your pick for tomorrow's game tomorrow. But do you have a pick in racing today?
Yeah, I always scan the simulcast market, so I've got one for you. Let's go to Canterbury tonight, race number 5, 1 mile on the turf. I like the number 1 horse, Vintage Port, 4-1 in the morning line. This horse exit a Minnesota-bred stakes, ran a good second. This is a Minnesota-bred optional claimer. Should save all the ground on the inside under San Diego. 1, Vintage Port, race 5.
5th race, Canterbury, number 1, Vintage Port, the 1 in the 5th at Canterbury Downs. Canterbury Park, I should say. Canterbury Park today. The 5th race, the 1. Hey, thanks a lot, Rich. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks, Rob. Good luck, everybody.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Dwayne Colucci is standing by from the Rampart, and then, of course, John and Jerry as well. Don't go away. We'll be back.
Thank you, buddy.
There are many families that need your help. I'm Mark Wahlberg, and I'm asking you to support the Tunnel to Towers Foundation in their efforts to deliver mortgage-free homes to catastrophically injured service members, Gold Star, and fallen first responders families with young children, as well as eradicating homelessness amongst our veterans. Everybody knows where the money's going, every single dollar. God bless you. Please contribute $11 a month to support their efforts by visiting t2t.org.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is smoke and fire. This is high stakes and wild cards. This is family and tradition. This is everything on the line. This is it. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas. The South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now. LVMS.com.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. Time to go out to Dwayne Colucci standing by for the Rampart. Dwayne, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How we doing on this fabulous Wednesday?
Well, I'm trying to catch up. You know, usually you're all framed out to get 2 days off to get things done away from racing, and you had to jam it all into one day. But we had a good night's sleep, so it's back to normal today, Dwayne. And I know it was a big weekend here in town, and I'm sure your place was hopping with all that great racing going on.
Yeah, it was fabulous, Ralph. I'll tell you the truth. It was a great racing weekend. Monday was great. Great college football schedule. Went throughout the week. Monday night capped off with Belichick. So, it was great. And Delmar had some fabulous payoffs there. Very difficult to handicap, though, on Monday. But, the prices were there. The winners were there. And Saratoga wrapped up their fabulous meet. It was just a great showing. And I can't thank my patrons enough. They were out in droves.
Well, we now look ahead to the march to the Breeders' Cup. Saratoga is complete now. They get back down to the city on the 11th of the month. And, of course, Del Mar goes into its final week of racing. And then we got to start looking at all those divisions in the Breeders' Cup and who's going where and what's going on. But it's shaping up to be one hell of a Breeders' Cup Classic.
Oh, the Classic is going to be off the hook. I tell you, fierceness really ran lights out at Del Mar. little parity in the Jockey Club. I don't know what to make of that. I mean, I think Sierra Leone would have probably won the race, but how do you say if Mindframe, regains his balance and stays in the race? You really can't tell, but you do know that Pratt was compromised. He had a leap over Irad and did a fabulous job there. But fierceness, almost ducking into the rail there, that temporary rail, and then just took control at about the half-mile pole and blew the field away. And, if you buy anything into that, it shows maybe the comparison between the 3-year-olds and the older horses. But credit to journalism. I mean, he's back to an old school Ralph, to where he ran 8 times this year, which is just amazing. Going back to the Iron Horse days, and you don't see that anymore. So McCarthy really did a fabulous job and continues to do a fabulous job with this horse. He uncorked a nice rally. It was just, basically fierceness built that lead, and he's tough to beat when he doesn't wrap himself up and he keeps his mind on racing with a big lead like that. Yeah, well, they're all looking at the barrel of sovereignty, that's for sure, and this is going to be one heck of a Breeders' Cup. Real quick, you got a lot of interesting things going on for football betting, right? Oh, yeah, definitely, Ralph. All you got to do is swipe your rewards card when you make any football wager, and you're entered in for a $500 cash prize weekly. That's a virtual drawing on Tuesday, so you don't even have to be present. I post the names in the Race and Sportsbook, and you could win $500 in free cash if you get the first prize, $300 in free slot play for second. So it's a great, great marketing tool. You bet a $50 parlay card at the Rampart. I will give you a deli coupon for your choice of chicken fingers, hot dogs, or a cheeseburger, or you could use the coupon for $5 off our buffet, the only buffet in Summerlin. So, we have a tremendous amount of, promotions leading into football. And then we also have the $100,000 point bonus, deposit $500 into the mobile app. Bet the 500 within 30 days, and you're getting 100 free in cash, basically, which is 100,000 free slot points at the Rampart Reward Center. So just so many promotions we do, and we wheel it out for the customer. And the horse racing promotions are the best. Drink tickets, racing forms for qualified players. Every $40 is one comp dollar at the Rampart when betting on racing. That is by far the best ratio in town, and we love our horse players. We're looking forward to, the return of Los Al, Santa Anita, Aqueduct, and you go into Del Mar again. It's just a great racing season thus far, and it's good to see racing, gathering momentum again. All right. Enough said there. Just get down to the Rampart, that's for sure. If you're up in that part of the country and don't go there, that's your first bad beat. Let's get a pick today. Yeah, definitely. Let's do it. Let's do Horseshoe Indy, race 5, number 4 horse, Pack a Lunch. Fernando de la Cruz gets on this horse for William Cowan. He's been on a little layoff, but I think it's a drop in class. He tried to break his maiden out at Kentucky Downs, and, those maiden purses and how competitive it is there. Now you get the ultimate package switch, first-time gelding, first-time Lasix. You get one of the best riders over that course in De La Cruz. 12-1 is the right price. Let's just hope they stay on the turf. This horse is going to take a lot of beating. I think he could definitely win this race, Ralph. Let's go at race 5, Horseshoe, Indiana, number 4, Pack a Lunch. Well, fifth race in the fifth race, you like number 4, Pack a Lunch. And if Pack a Lunch wins, we got a nice little dinner, that's for sure. In the 5th race, the 4, Pack a Lunch. Dwayne Colucci's play for the day. Thanks a lot, Dwayne. A lot going on out there. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for having me on, Ralph. Always a pleasure. And let's cash some tickets this week. You better believe it, my man. Thank you so much. And we are going to take our final break, a quick one, and then we'll be back with John Lindo and Jerry J just to see what they're up to. Don't go away.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style Paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world.
You get value with the home team.
Even though the total's been batted down a little bit, I still think it's okay to go under.
Lean into the favorite. I do like the over.
You're talking about two-way action over 3 touchdowns.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
If you see a hook here, it's not going to last long.
Are we sure either of these quarterbacks are good?
Hell no, we're not sure.
The Race Day Las Vegas Show, the only exclusive daily local media racing information source in Las Vegas.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. Remember, if you want some serious insight into the NFL season, don't forget to watch Football Frenzy right here on YouTube on Fridays with the rack of great handicappers, etc. It's a murderer's row. Football Frenzy here starts and is on Fridays here at YouTube. All right, let's go out to Southern California. John Lindo standing by. John, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Crazy day Monday, Labor Day at Del Mar. And now, everybody's interest is peaked with the one winner in the pick 6. If CAW isn't creeping back in and anything like that, have you heard? Did they give you any indication of how that was, where it was bet, how it was bet, and who won?
No, usually when there's a single ticket, the track likes to get out the information.
Yeah.
This is the size of the ticket, and this is where it was purchased.
Yeah.
But we've heard nothing, and so I find that unusual. And after Pacific Classic Day, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, a couple of unusual betting patterns. It has you wondering a little bit. There were a couple horses on Sunday, Unbinding and Fumano's Magic, a horse that we picked on the radio that took a lot of action after that 2-minute mark in the win pools where they cut off the CAWs. And there were a couple on Monday as well. And like John Hardoon said, that pick 6 pool on Monday, which probably should have been $150,000, $160,000, ended up being $300,000. And you find an $85 winner in there and another big price winner in the generous portion stakes. And you got to think, well, there'll be a carryover for Friday. And for one ticket to hit that, I'd like some information on that ticket.
And if it's a straight ticket, I'd like to know how in the world in handicapping, traditional handicapping, you come up with those 2 horses.
Yeah, a little bit. I just didn't see that combination being covered, at least by a regular handicapper.
Well, all I know is that we'll wait and see that. In the TV coverage that I saw over at FanDuel, with the drone that, had the big shots of the grandstand, et cetera. It looked a little bit of a light crowd on Labor Day's holiday, Monday.
Well, in general, that day tends to be a little bit light. It's travel day to get back, people getting ready for work, but it was a little bit light, less than 5,000 people on track. And with the NFL starting this week, I don't think we're going to have major crowds down at Del Mar this weekend, but we've got good racing. We got the debutante and the futurity and a number of other stakes this weekend. So we'll see some very good 2-year-olds from the Bob Baffert barn at the very least.
Well, I can tell you this, wrapping up the weekend, John Velasquez and Todd Pletcher had a monster weekend. They won the Pacific Classic there with fierceness. They came back and won the Jockey Club Gold Cup with the B horse and Antiquarian, and then they unleashed one hell of a nice 2-year-old in the Hopeful. I mean, they had a hell of a week.
Yeah, Ted Nafi was his name, and I tell you, he got a nice outside stocking trip, but the way he rebroke down the lane of the Hopeful, and I saw they adjusted the buyer speed figure. Originally it was a 92. Andy Serling from the NYRA racetracks said it's been adjusted up to 98, so wow. That's a pretty serious speed figure for Ted Nafi.
Yeah, a pretty serious speed figure for a 2-year-old, that's for sure, a big 98 in that. And by the way, he disposed of one of Bob Baffert's big winners in Southern California, Butane, who went out there, but just could not match strides and could not catch up to Ted Nafi.
No, Butane didn't break well and was outrun a little bit early. He got into the race, but when he got near the leader, Ted Nafi, turning for home, the other horse found an afterburner that he just didn't have. And again, Todd Pletcher, the 2-year-olds, whether it be the dirt sprints or the turf routes, his 2-year-olds are really, really going well right now.
John, Del Mar's going to wrap it up this weekend, and then we'll take a little bit of time off. Los Alamitos will start on the 12th of September thereafter. And then when we get back to Santa Anita for the fall meeting there, we were discussing this a couple of shows ago, but they made it official now as far as getting approved and all that. They're going to have that $1 Sunset Pick 6 that involves the last 3 races at Gulfstream and the last 3 races at Santa Anita. One wonders if that's going to, eat into a little bit of the coast-to-coast wager.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they will move the coast-to-coast races around to try and avoid, landing on the same races. I think a lot will depend on field sizes at both tracks. And I hope it doesn't cannibalize the coast-to-coast, because I think that's a good bet. The thing about this new Pick 6 wager is that it is $1 minimum. No computer-assisted wagering, 15% takeout, but they just pay out the 6 winners. They don't pay out the 5, so it's a lot like a Pick 5 in that you have to catch all the winners. There's no consolations. If nobody hits 6, they will carry it over to the next day. But let's see what kind of races they choose, and if they're piling right on top of each other.
Takeout?
15%.
Okay, well that's nice to hear. Anyhow. Going into the last weekend at Del Mar, of course, the Del Mar Futurity will be the race that showcases the multitude of top 2-year-olds that Bob Baffert has, that's for sure. But it's been an interesting meet, and one wonders if the meet will show a positive or a negative as far as the overall handle.
Well, I've got to think the handle will be down a little bit, because when they did turn off the computer-assisted wagers and the win pools, those pools did drop a little bit, for an extended period of time, from the second week through week 7.
Uh-huh.
So we'll see what the total numbers end up being. Obviously, I want to see what the numbers do from this past Sunday, Monday, and the last 3 days to see if there's some extra activity from some of those wagering groups. And, part of it will be, they don't have Saratoga to play next week, so they might just jump in and get even stronger at Del Mar next weekend.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, that's for sure. And you see if you can run down who hit that Pick 6 and how they did it, that's for sure. And we will talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, we'll have Kentucky Downs, a selection from there tomorrow.
All right, you got it, my man. Thanks a lot. And now we go to Jerry Jackowitz standing by. Jerry, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph.
And
I think you're over here.
Yeah, I'm over here. Yeah, so you're looking at your computer. Are you trying to find something out for us? Is that it?
No, I just was daydreaming in the wrong section here. Now I got it.
Okay, so we've got Todd Pletcher and John Velasquez, hit it out of the park this weekend with winning the Jockey Club Gold Cup with the Aquarian. You had them winning the Pacific Classic with Fierceness, and the hopeful with Ted Naffy. And all I can say is, how are you in observing all of these races over the weekend? Anything really stick out to you and say, wow, that was a hell of a performance?
Yeah, going deep.
Yeah.
The most important performance of the weekend was going deep in the 7th at Del Mar.
Yes. And did I not try to put you on that winner?
I guess you try and do it, but, it was, nobody should have had a problem betting it. I mean, first of all, I gave out Hey Jesse in the race with 4 horses.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're looking at the race, if you're just awake, you say, well, one of the horses is 40-1. Why don't I use that as a second bet? Maybe that should.
Well, let's quantify that. The 40-1 shot going deep. I mismarked my sheet when I was talking to you, and I thought that was your feature play, but you corrected me and didn't. Your feature play was Hey Jesse. However, going deep was a star horse on your sheet.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
but I mean, some of the people out there have the power page,
right?
And they should go, oh, Jerry likes the 6-1 4 horse, but the 9 horse is also a star horse, is 45-1. Maybe I should bet both horses in the race.
That would have been a very good idea.
I don't know. Maybe I should, but for the people out there who don't have the power page, who are afraid to spend the $5. To get really useful information, they got the play, the 4 over the 1-5-7-9, and they look at the 1-5-7-9 The 9 is 45 to 1. Maybe that deserves some money extra on its
Well,
own.
it deserves a saver play of anything else at that price.
Yeah, well,
A star horse.
me. I think saver plays are losers plays. I think you bet it. If it's worth a bet, you bet it. That's
what I'm saying. You make the bet on it. It's 40 to 1. That's a play you got to make. If you're using your sheet and using the star horses, that's a must play at 40 to 1.
Using my play. If you're just using my play, the people who have the power page and don't bet a star horse at 45 to 1, there's no hope for them.
Well, we will leave this show on saying to everybody, get the power page and keep the hope. There is no hope. Yes, there's plenty of hope out there. That's for sure. All right, we wind up this Wednesday show. Jerry can now go back to sleep, but he has one more thing to say before we end the show. We'll look at those big Kentucky Downs, big $1 million races tomorrow on the show. But in the meantime, Jerry, say it.
Have a great race day, everybody.